Kai Yamazaki always thought abandoned tunnels were meant for horror films, not early morning detours, but there he was, ducking beneath a collapsed "Do not enter" sign behind Shibuya Station, backpack slung over one shoulder, earbuds in, and toast clenched between his teeth. Like every anime protagonist, he was already late for his digital media class at Keio University, and the last train delay hadn't helped. He wasn't even sure how he'd stumbled on it. The deeper he went, the more unnatural it felt. Not scary, exactly, just out of sync. The walls weren't made of concrete, but old stone bricks, like something from an Edo castle. Moss and vines covered the sides, graffiti tags turned into kanji brushstrokes. It wasn't on any map, and Google Street View blurred the entrance like it was hiding a scandal. "Shortcut," he muttered, more to justify his own dumb choices than anything. The tunnel was narrow, damp, and smelled like forgotten rain. He moved deeper inside, phone flashlight on. Then came the sound, not echoes, not water dripping, but voices. They were formal, distant. Cherry blossoms bloomed out of season. A man in a bowler hat passed him, eyeing his hoodie and sneakers like they were cursed. Words he recognized from Gidijeki dramas and school textbooks. Was someone filming a period piece? Kai pulled one earbud out until a sudden gust of warm air hit him like a wall. "You speak oddly, stranger. If you're part of that strange Edison show, better hurry. Are you Chinese? Or an actor?" A small patrol of Imperial officers marched down the road in perfect formation. "Look, I think there's been a mistake." They wore uniforms that looked like a mashup of Western military gear and samurai fashion, and they were staring right at him. There was light ahead, flickering orange like lanterns. He blinked, stepped forward. Dirt road, wooden signs, rickshaws, people in kimonos. He fumbled for it, mid-run, opened maps, but no signal, no GPS, no apps. The voices weren't in modern Japanese. He kept walking, more curious than cautious, and the tunnel vanished. When he opened his eyes, he was standing in a street. Shibuya was gone. Well, not gone, just different. The buildings were low and traditional. "Excuse me," Kai said to a passing woman. Where, ... is this Shibuya?" The woman bowed quickly and hurried off like he'd insulted her ancestors. Another man nearby overheard and frowned. "Actor Kai," repeated. The man pointed to a nearby bamboo stall. "The theater's down the road. Inventor, you've crossed into Meiji 21, the year 1888. And if you want to survive, you're going to need better shoes." Before Kai could ask more, a whistle sounded. "Back off." People turned. "That's him," one officer muttered. "The boy in foreign clothing." Kai raised his hands. I don't even know what happened. I was in the tunnel behind Shibuya Station and sees him. They charged." Kai turned and ran. He zigzagged between stalls, vaulting over crates of daikon and fish, ignoring the shouts behind him. His phone buzzed in his pocket. Just 3% battery and a single open tab. A Wikipedia article on Shibuya Station history. He made a sharp left into an alley. Dead end. Trapped. One officer approached, unsheathing a wakizashi blade. But then, a whistle blew. Different, shriller. "Stop," came a new voice. A young woman in hakama pants and spectacles stepped between them. "The boy's with me," she said firmly. The officers hesitated. "He's dressed like a foreigner. He's part of the Edison demonstration," she snapped. "We're testing a new telegraph uniform. He's my apprentice." The soldiers exchanged glances, then reluctantly backed away. As soon as they left, she turned to Kai. "You're not from here, are you?" Kai shook his head. "You found the threshold," she said, adjusting her spectacles. It hasn't opened in decades. She extended her hand. I'm Noriko, inventor time watcher. You've crossed into Meiji 21, the year 1888. And if you want to survive, you're going to need better shoes. Kai followed Noriko through narrow alleys and crooked back streets, his shoes squelching awkwardly in the soft dirt. Noriko muttered, leading him into a low wooden building hidden behind a paper lantern shop. You're saying I time-traveled, and my biggest threat is stage acting. Most outsiders don't last 5 minutes here without being arrested, or I'm saying that in 1888, foreignness is dangerous. Gears, scrolls, wires, and what might have been a half-assembled phonograph sat next to mismatched socks and cooling teacups. You dress like an American magician. Change. This place, it's like steampunk without the steam. Now, your hoodie is giving my neighbor's heart palpitations. And this is what you do for a living? Build time-traveling gadgets. What were you doing before you entered the tunnel? You talk like a Western diplomat, trying to cut through construction. I was on my way to class, and you carry strange metal boxes with glowing glass. You're practically a walking ghost story. Worse, recruited into theater. Then perhaps that's why it opened for you. The threshold doesn't bring just anyone, only those who are needed here. At least, that's what the legends say. The tunnel did that. I'm just the only one in this city who recognizes it for what it is. One of maybe 4 known portals that bend the laws of time. And what exactly do you think I'm needed for? I can't sword fight. I can't speak formal Japanese. And the only thing I've built recently is a 2-minute film on vending machines. The top letter bore his full name, Kai Yamazaki, written in brush calligraphy. They're unpredictable, temperamental. The ink had faded slightly, but the words were clear. You're here because someone from the past sent these, and they're addressed to you. That's what I was hoping you'd help me figure out. Most have vanished. But this one, it opens once every few decades, depending on the movement of the moon and how badly the universe feels like messing with someone. His modern sneakers had already earned him several stares, especially from a group of schoolchildren who whispered and giggled behind a bamboo fence as he passed. You're lucky I was nearby. Kai blinked. No, she said dryly. Inside, the building looked like a mad scientist's workshop. Met a hoarder's attic. Noriko tossed him a folded yukata. Kai ducked behind a divider and swapped outfits. I call it neo-mechanical theory, Noriko replied, twisting a copper dial on a strange, humming device. The British call it science. The shogunate called it sorcery. I call it Monday. Kai peeked around the corner. No, she said, brushing sawdust off a blueprint. He furrowed his brow. So that tunnel behind the station is a threshold? She finished. Great, Kai muttered. I get picked by cosmic mood swings. Noriko handed him a cup of hot tea. Running late. Student. Digital media major, he said, sipping carefully. I make documentaries. Short films. Mostly. Noriko's brow rose. So, you're a chronicler, Kai laughed. I guess that's one way to put it. She studied him closely. Kai set the cup down. Noriko grinned. Don't worry. You're not here to fight. She walked over to a dusty cabinet and pulled out a stack of worn letters tied with a red ribbon. Kai's breath caught. What? She untied the ribbon slowly. But that's impossible, he whispered. I know, Noriko replied. So is falling into 1888? He opened the letter with trembling fingers. The paper smelled like smoke and cedar. To the one who walks through time with borrowed shoes, find me before the eclipse, or Shibuya will burn. M. Kai, read it again. Who's M? Noriko's smile faded. Outside, a distant temple bell rang. The sound lingered in the air like a warning. Kai looked up. When's the eclipse? She checked a strange mechanical calendar on the wall. It made a soft clicking sound. 10 days, she said. Give or take, an afternoon thunderstorm. Kai stood still for a moment, the weight of it sinking in. A warning from the past. A mysterious letter. A ticking countdown. He tightened the sash on his yukata and picked up his phone, now showing 1% battery. I guess I'd better make this count. Kai wasn't too sure what was stranger. The fact that he was now living in the year 1888, or that someone from this era had not only written him a letter. They knew his name, perfectly spelled. M could be anyone. Magistrate, monk, midwife, or a name. I've been tracking them for a while. Inked decades before he was even born. The signature still stared up at him like a challenge. Noriko moved through her workshop, lighting a lantern. How do you know they're real? Because they've left signs. Look beneath the stairs. She will show you the rest. I knew it. The dial's reacting to you. Blueprints, warnings, half-finished machines. I can't decode. She reached beneath a stack of fabric and pulled out a round copper disc the size of a dinner plate. It pulsed faintly, glowing with strange patterns. Kai blinked. That looks like something from an escape room. Good. Then let's escape a disaster. Tall and oddly windowless, but there was no clock at the top, just empty slats. She placed it on the floor between them. This is a memory dial. It was decommissioned years ago. Rumors say it used to house a secret society of engineers, but they vanished. Where a narrow staircase dipped beneath the foundation, the wooden slats creaked as they stepped carefully downward. Dust danced in the shafts of late afternoon sun breaking through the slits above. So now, I'm officially part of some prophetic scavenger hunt, an unfinished design. It stores fragments of information, like impressions, but it only activates if the person it's meant for touches it. The disc warmed beneath his fingers, then a voice, calm, genderless, older, echoed softly in the air around him. Okay. Inside was a small chamber lit by a single shaft of golden light. In the center stood a mirror. Its frame was wrapped in vines of metal, some moving subtly, like they were alive. M is a collection of choices, not a name, but you will meet them soon. That's not creepy at all. A group of schoolchildren played janken near a shrine. A woman passed by selling silkworms in bamboo trays. Kai crouched and hesitated. You're serious. Do not waste time. The eclipse will expose the fractures. What was hidden will burn. Always. He placed his hand on the surface. Okay, that's definitely not how mirrors are supposed to work. It mentioned fractures. That's not a good sign. Find the tower without a clock. They tried to blend in. Kai, now wearing getter sandals and his hair tied back awkwardly to look less Space Invader, Kai yanked his hand back. Noriko's eyes sparkled. Great, she nodded. Welcome to the club. So we've got an eclipse, a vanishing engineer cult, and a magic mirror giving me riddles. That afternoon, Noriko guided Kai into town. They walked past open markets, street vendors yelling over roasted chestnuts, and townspeople exchanging coin for bundles of herbs. It was a different Shibuya. Quieter, but alive. There, Noriko whispered. Pointing, ahead stood an old watchtower. Kai tilted his head. Tower without a clock, Noriko nodded. And we're just walking in. Well, she said. Not exactly. She led him behind the tower. At the base, a wooden door stood half-rotted, etched with symbols. Noriko brushed off a layer of grime. The symbol for memory, she said. We're in the right place. They pushed the door open. Kai stepped forward. His reflection didn't move. It stared back at him, but didn't mimic him. Instead, it spoke. You are late. Kai stumbled back. The reflection blinked. Noriko approached, pulling out a notebook. Kai asked, "Are you M?" The mirror gave a sad smile. The mirror shimmered, then went still. Kai exhaled. "This is too much." Noriko jotted down the mirror's words. Kai ran a hand through his hair. Noriko shrugged. "Could be worse. Worse than bending time and talking to ghosts," she grinned. "It could be raining." A low rumble echoed outside. "You had to say it," Kai muttered. Rain fell in a slow drizzle, the kind that soaked through fabric and crept into your bones without apology. Or, I don't know, not stepped into a cursed time tunnel. Kai and Noriko stood under the watchtower's overhang, Kai shivering slightly in his thin yukata. "I knew I should have brought my jacket," he mumbled. "Or an umbrella." "You'll adjust," Noriko said, unfazed, tying her tool satchel closed. "Welcome to Seasonal Confusion 88 edition." Kai's mind replayed the mirror's cryptic message. "Fractures will burn." It hadn't sounded like poetry. Closed down after its founder disappeared. Before that, it trained the most brilliant minds in Edo. If anyone knows who M is, or what they're planning, it would have started there. It sounded like a warning. Some of the flaws here are more memory than material. We've got maybe 5 days till the eclipse. Less if the clouds are lying. Noriko checked the sky, lips tight, as they walked down a narrow back street. Kai glanced at the signs etched into wooden shops. "Where are we headed?" "Echo Institute of Advancement." Though the kanji for advancement had been scratched out and replaced with a crude drawing of a fish. "An old school," she said. They approached a tall, decaying structure surrounded by ivy and rusted fencing. The sign at the gate read, "Flashlight in hand." The last few bars of battery glowing faintly. His shoes slid slightly as he stepped into what used to be a lecture hall. Or maybe a version of me that already did this. "Not ominous at all," Kai muttered. Noriko moved with surprising reverence. The inside of the building smelled like old paper and rainy wood. Broken desks sat at odd angles. Scrolls lay torn and curling on the floor. "Careful where you step," she said. Kai tiptoed behind her, carrying a long lacquered walking stick with mechanical etchings down the side. That's when he saw it. A massive chalkboard, untouched by time. Drawings of stars, gers, mathematical diagrams, and notes written in flawless modern English. "I was one of the first to step through time, and I've been waiting for you, Kai Yamazaki. You wouldn't believe me if I told you." He froze. "This looks like something from my university." Noriko came up beside him. "Look at the signature. At the bottom, etched faintly in chalk, M. Yamazaki." Kai's heart skipped. "That's my last name." "You think this could be your ancestor?" Noriko asked. "No, I'm just one of the M's. We've passed the title like a relay baton across time. Then help us." The mirror said, "Something's going to burn." The last letter of a warning that's never stopped being written, because someone is trying to break the threshold permanently. She was once one of us. A traveler, a teacher. Now she's trying to fold time into a weapon. As he held it, the hand suddenly spun forward, stopping at midnight to control it. They believe time can be rewritten for power, but the danger starts when the shadows disappear. If they succeed during the eclipse, it'll tear this city in two. Maybe. Then we've got to stop her. "You mean?" She paused. "You've been here before." Kai looked at the writing again. Lines he knew he'd never written but felt deeply familiar. "Or I will be." There was a sudden creak from the back of the hall. They turned sharply. Standing in the doorway was an elderly man, robes soaked from the rain. "I was wondering when you'd come," the man said, voice dry but kind. "Who are you?" Kai asked. The man chuckled. "Try me," Kai replied, squaring up. "I'm the architect," the man said. I helped build the threshold. Noriko tensed beside him. How do you know his name? Because I was the one who left the mirror behind, he said. And a disc, and a warning. You're M? Kai asked. The old man shook his head. Kai's brain wobbled. How many of us are there? More than you think. Fewer than we need. Noriko stepped forward. The man nodded gravely. Kai stared. The man turned, tapping his cane. You'll find her in the old astronomy tower, but be careful. She's not working alone. Who is she? Kai pressed. The man's voice dropped. The rain outside intensified. Thunder rumbled, not far off. Kai stepped toward the door. The man held out a brass pocket watch. Ticking backwards. You'll need this. It'll guide you if you let it. Kai took it. Noriko looked at the sky through the broken windows. The eclipse begins at noon, she said, but the danger starts when the shadows disappear. Kai stood at the edge of the overgrown field, staring up at the towering silhouette in the fog. The old astronomy tower loomed like a forgotten bone in the city's spine. Tall, fractured, its top vanishing into the misty sky. This used to be the most advanced observatory in Japan, Noriko said. Now the only thing it tracks is time that's already broken. Kai clutched the brass pocket watch the old man had given him. It buzzed faintly in his palm like it had a heartbeat. The hands still pointed stubbornly to midnight, even though the sky was growing brighter. Let's make a rule, Kai said. You chose the weird timeline. No more creepy clocks or mirror riddles after this. No promises, Noriko replied with a smirk. They pushed through the brush toward the entrance. The double doors hung crooked. The frame cracked as if something had burst out long ago. Inside, dust floated in heavy shafts of light. Old instruments, telescopes, astrolabes, and gear-powered rotors lay half-covered in rust and cloth. As they reached the top floor, the air shifted. It was cooler here, but not from altitude. It felt like time was leaking through the cracks in the walls. Then they heard it. Her hair was streaked with silver, though she couldn't have been more than 30. Footsteps, soft, measured, coming from above. They crept up the spiral staircase, its boards groaning under each step. There she stood at the window, a tall woman in a dark kimono embroidered with constellations. I was M, then I stopped believing in the mission. Time isn't a road, it's a web, and the more we tamper with it, the more we tangle it. Then why sabotage it? Why not warn people? Every traveler, every step across years leaves a mark. I did warn them. They didn't listen, so I made a deal with the shadows. Echoes that don't fade. Now they're folding in on themselves. When the eclipse darkens the city, the veil thins. Just long enough. I can erase the threshold and seal every timeline. No more warping. No more mistakes. She didn't turn when she spoke. Between seconds, the more fractures we make, the more places they can hide. They offered me peace, closure, one last storm to end the web. I was hoping it wouldn't be you, Kai, but you'll destroy all the echoes, all the people caught in between. Kai froze. No, you, the one who sent the message through the mirror. The anchor's hum rising into a howl. The one who built the second threshold, and the one who tried to close it before anyone could use it again. Now she turned. Her eyes shimmered like mercury, lifting a device from the floor, a glass orb humming with dark energy, veins of purple lightning dancing inside. This is the anchor. At noon, it activates. He hurled the pocket. It struck the orb and shattered. Not the orb, but time around it. Amakari Noriko narrowed her eyes. You're not doing this alone, are you? We have to stop the anchor. If we destroy it before noon, covered in equations, diagrams of wormholes, eclipses, and magnetic arcs, Akari gave a thin smile. Kai stepped forward. Why? Why build it just to destroy it? The lines of energy unraveled briefly, light skipping like a scratched film reel. Akari turned to the vast blackboard behind her. It stretched floor to ceiling. Because we were wrong. Kai's mind reeled. You're saying this is all our fault? I'm saying we're unmaking time faster than we can repair it. Noriko's voice was firm. Akari looked tired. Kai blinked. The what now? Akari tapped a spot on the blackboard. A jagged sketch of a spidery creature reaching across a calendar. They live in the gaps. Kai's blood went cold. You're unleashing something? She nodded. Kai stepped back. Collateral, Akari said coldly. Noriko stood between them. You don't have to do this. I already did, Akari said. Kai lunged. But Akari flicked her wrist, and a wave of invisible force slammed him into the wall. He gasped, vision swimming. Akari hesitated. The shadows keep their bargains. The floor beneath them rumbled. A deep grinding noise from below. Noriko pulled Kai up. Akari raised a hand again. But this time, Kai was faster. Everything slowed. The orb flickered. Unstable Akari screamed. What have you done? Kai stood, bloodied, dizzy. Just rewound your script. Noriko grabbed his arm. Run. They sprinted down the stairs as the tower buckled around them, the anchor's hum rising into a howl. This used to be the most advanced observatory in Japan, Noriko said. Now the only thing it tracks is time that's already broken. Kai clutched the brass pocket watch the old man had given him. It buzzed faintly in his palm like it had a heartbeat. The hand still pointed stubbornly to midnight, even though the sky was growing brighter. Let's make a rule, Kai said. No more creepy clocks or mirror riddles. After this, no promises, Noriko replied with a smirk. You chose the weird timeline. They pushed through the brush toward the entrance. The double doors hung crooked. The frame cracked as if something had burst out long ago. Inside, dust floated in heavy shafts of light. Old instruments, telescopes, astrolabes, and gear-powered rotors lay half-covered in rust and cloth. Then they heard it. Footsteps, soft, measured, coming from above. They crept up the spiral staircase, its boards groaning under each step. As they reached the top floor, the air shifted. It was cooler here, but not from altitude. It felt like time was leaking through the cracks in the walls. There she stood at the window, a tall woman in a dark kimono embroidered with constellations. Her hair was streaked with silver, though she couldn't have been more than 30. She didn't turn when she spoke. I was hoping it wouldn't be you. Kai froze. I know you. Now she turned. Her eyes shimmered like mercury. I'm Akari, the one who sent the message through the mirror, the one who built the second threshold, and the one who tried to close it before anyone could use it again. Noriko narrowed her eyes. You're M? Akari gave a thin smile. I was M. Then I stopped believing in the mission. Kai stepped forward. Why build it just to destroy it? Akari turned to the vast blackboard behind her. It stretched floor to ceiling, covered in equations, diagrams of wormholes, eclipses, and magnetic arcs. Because we were wrong. Time isn't a road, it's a web. And the more we tamper with it, the more we tangle it. Every traveler, every step across years leaves a mark, echoes that don't fade. Now they're folding in on themselves. Kai's mind reeled. You're saying this is all our fault? I'm saying we're unmaking time faster than we can repair it. Noriko's voice was firm. Then why sabotage it? Why not warn people? Akari looked tired. I did warn them. They didn't listen, so I made a deal with the shadows. Kai blinked. The what now? Akari tapped a spot on the blackboard. A jagged sketch of a spidery creature reaching across a calendar. They live in the gaps. between seconds. The more fractures we make, the more places they can hide. They offered me peace, closure, one last storm to end the web. Kai's blood went cold. You're unleashing something, she nodded. When the eclipse darkens the city, the veil thins, just long enough. I can erase the threshold and seal every timeline. No more warping, no more mistakes. Kai stepped back. But you'll destroy all the echoes, all the people caught in between. Collateral, Akari said coldly. Noriko stood between them. You don't have to do this. Kai lunged. But Akari flicked her wrist, and a wave of invisible force slammed him into the wall. He gasped, vision swimming. You're not doing this alone, are you? The floor beneath them rumbled, a deep grinding noise from below. Noriko pulled Kai up. We have to stop the anchor. If we destroy it before noon. Akai raised a hand again. But this time, Kai was faster. He hurled the pocket. It struck the orb and shattered. Not the orb, but time around it. Everything slowed. The orb flickered, unstable. The lines of energy unraveled briefly, light skipping like a scratched film reel. They burst out of the tower's crumbling base. Just as a bolt of violet lightning shot through the spire, a sonic crack rippled out. Noriko grabbed his hand and pulled him up, her eyes wide. The anchors destabilizing, but not destroyed. We bought time, not victory. Vibrating through the ground and echoing across Shibuya, like a cannon shot fired from another era, Kai tumbled to his knees, coughing from the smoke and dust. Kai winced, his ribs aching. Then let's buy more. Behind them, the astronomy tower groaned under the pressure of shifting time currents. Above, the sky darkened unnaturally. It wasn't clouds, it was something else. Is it noon? Kai asked. Noriko checked the skyline. No, but the shadows already forming. They ran down narrow alleys, across rice paddies now overrun with flickering glitches, areas where present, past, and something worse were bleeding into one another. As they reached the old tram station, Kai saw a tree blink in and out of existence. First, cherry blossoms, then bare, the old temple. That's where the threshold first opened. If we can redirect the anchor's force, then flames, then gone. A street lantern bent 90 degrees sideways, hovering in midair. You don't know what the future holds, but it's not our job to erase it. I've seen this before, in a dream, or maybe a memory. From the clouds, dozens of long, ink-like tendrils slithered downward, weaving into buildings and people like roots, looking for anchors. Look, we're too late, he muttered. They're anchoring themselves to the loudest echoes. Kai, not yet, Noriko said, and it crumbled into dust. We might close the tier instead of collapsing the timeline. Kai finished, catching on. Classic flip the battery maneuver. Blood streaked across her cheek, one arm wrapped in She looked furious and afraid. The threshold? Then maybe I deserve it. I've walked through time without understanding it, but I'm here now. Let me finish what you started. The right way. She blinked. That's not a thing. Pulling out the orb's twin. A stabilizing mirror disk the architect had given her earlier. Her voice cracked. You fool. You'll fracture yourself. It should be. he said, wheezing. Wind roared through the temple, dragging in every shadow tendril, every stray echo, every forgotten second. Akari's orb shattered, light bursting from within. She looked like someone who'd just been woken from a very long nightmare. They reached the steps of the ruined temple just as the ground beneath them twisted, like the world was stretching, then snapping back. No color, just gray, like the city was trapped between thoughts. Inside the temple, a circle of mirrors shimmered with light, not of this world. And I guess I'll stay here and protect home. If you do this, there's no going home. 1,000 versions of himself flickered across the mirrors. Child, teen, old man, soldier, scholar, all of them reaching toward the same core. Kai slowed, stunned. Noriko moved to the central dais, but Akari was already there. She stepped from behind a pillar. "You could have just let it happen," she said, voice trembling. "No," Kai said. "You're too late," she said, raising the anchor orb. "The shadow has begun." The brass watch was in his hand again, ticking forward. She pointed outside. The sky was blackening unnaturally. One tendril pierced a stone lantern, another wrapped around a man down the street, and he simply blinked out of existence. No more shadows. The sky was clear. Kai froze. Their eating moments, memories, anchors, Noriko said. He didn't wait. He ran toward the mirror dais. "Don't you dare!" Akari shouted. Kai pulled the mirror disc from his coat, stepped into the ring of swirling time, and slammed the disc into the center. Everything stopped. No sound. Akari dropped the orb. Kai turned. She staggered back, lowering her arms. Kai took a deep breath. He pressed the disc into the pedestal. The mirrors lit up like a sunburst. Kai felt his body splitting, not in pain, but in perspective. Then, light, silence, a single breath. Kai stood alone on the temple steps. Noriko staggered beside him. Did it? He looked down. Akari stood in the ruins, staring at the mirror dais, her face blank. "I didn't think you'd survive it," she said softly. Kai managed a half smile. "Neither did I." The city exhaled. Not a sound, not a breath of wind. Just the sensation that something enormous had finally released its grip. Shibuya, frozen in the grasp of a warping timeline, flickered and then steadied. The air lost its shimmer, and for the first time in what felt like hours, birds began to sing. Buildings resumed their shapes. They were solid, real. He touched the brass watch, ticking normally again, and felt his heart do the same. Kai looked down at his hands. "You did it," Noriko whispered, standing beside him. Her face was streaked with dirt, but her eyes shone. "You brought it all back." Kai sat on the temple steps, exhaling. No big deal. Just saved a century or two. Like whatever weight had once crushed her spine had finally lifted. But I guess time has a sense of humor. A voice from behind them made them both turn. "I wasn't sure if I'd exist after that," Akari said, approaching slowly. She looked different. Younger, lighter. "You'll return to your time, Kai. The echo has faded. Your threads no longer tangled here. I remembered who I was before the shadows. A student. This time, its hands had spun fully to 12 noon. Not a trap, a dreamer. I wanted to make time travel a gift." Kai raised an eyebrow. "You okay?" "Thank you, Kai, for choosing people over perfection." She nodded. "Well," Kai said, "you invented the world's most confusing elevator, but also maybe its most important one." Noriko stepped forward. "What now? But we can bury it. Hide the mirrors, filled with the hum of commuters and the glow of vending machines. Where are you? Are you late again? Don't forget the interview. Let the future move forward on its own." His phone buzzed in his pocket. Its screen cracked but working. Destroy the keys. No mysterious fog or falling through a puddle. Akari looked toward the threshold. Now just a circle of ordinary mirrors, dull and still. We can't erase time travel completely. Kai tilted his head. And us? She smiled sadly. Everything moved, breathed, rushed forward. And this time, he didn't feel like he was behind. I'm going to miss you, Tokyo boy. Wait, just like that? He asked. Akari smirked. Check your pocket. Kai reached into his coat and pulled out the brass watch again. He felt it before he saw it. A gentle pull behind his ribs, like gravity turning inward. His surroundings shimmered. Noriko stepped forward, her hand on his shoulder. Kai smiled. I'll miss you too. Weird time, librarian. And if you ever drop into the wrong century again, she added, bring snacks. They laughed. Akari gave him a small nod. The world bent. And then everything was dark. Kai woke to the sound of tram bells. He was lying on a bench at the Shibuya station. The real one, modern and clean. Notifications lit up. He stood slowly, dazed. The brass watch was gone, but in its place, a folded piece of paper stuck out from his wallet. He opened it, a sketch of a cherry blossom tree and a scribbled note. Time is what we make of it. He smiled. As Kai walked into the crowd, the sun broke through the clouds, painting Shibuya in gold. For the first time in years, he felt right on time.